So, continuing on in the realm of, oh, he had a new idea. Okay, I'm going to ask you guys to hybridize. I'm going to ask you guys to hybridize two of these forms. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to hybridize the first form that you have, right? The A2. This is A1, A2. I want you to hybridize A2 with F. So in the sequence of things, I want you guys to kind of try to imagine what would happen if this and this had a baby here. Okay? So genetically, what you're doing is you're taking, not genetically, but from a design genetics perspective, you're taking the sort of staggering and offset nature of this one, okay, along with the acute angles and the obtuse angles and the tapering forms of this one, and you are going to marry that with the level-to-level differentiation and the folding method of this one. Okay? So what you're going to end up with is something that is going to have all inward folds, as this one has. It's essentially going to fold into itself in a sort of spiral of sorts. But you're going to use forms like this one, right, that are, instead of things lining one right top over top of the other, the things are going to have these tapering forms, and they're going to be much more dynamic in character than the square one. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just model one of these for you, and then I'm going to release you guys to go ahead and do the same thing with that. All right, so I've got a piece of board right here that will work just fine. Slide that forward, sorry. Okay, so let's see which way the corrugation's going on these. It's going that way. Right. Yes. So length of the strip is going to go in this direction. So in the same way that we did this before, I'm going to take the pattern that I developed, because I believe I developed a pattern for this. Let me see if I can find it. And it's not there. Okay, can't find it, so I'm just going to have to make my new pattern. Can you give me some paper from over there? Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get something that again folds in on itself, but that has these forms. And so I'm going to start by kind of analyzing this strip over here. So this first strip, take it out from here. All right, this one that has all the ends, F. All right. I'm sorry, so sorry. So I'm going to start with this F form. Where's my trace paper? Where is my trace? Yeah. Is it over here? Oh, it's inside here. Ah, there it is. Okay, so we're going to start with this one, and as we're noting, there's the F, and if we look at the little model that we built, all right, the F is down here in this lower corner. So this is kind of the base plane for it. So what I'm going to do is, again, utilizing a piece of trace paper, I'm going to start by creating polygons that have these types of tapering. So remember, taper means it's going from thin to wide or wide to thin, okay? And it has a combination of two acute and two obtuse angles in it. So I'm going to try and do one of those right in here. So we go again. Another sneeze. All right. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom, blow my nose. So I'm going to kind of pick up some of these angles from this thing. So I'm going to start by kind of lining that up there. I'm going to pick up that angle. So there's the first sort of piece, okay? So next I have to kind of get this one to sort of start to fold up, and I don't know which direction it's going to go. So what I'm going to show you is the Frankenstein technique that we're going to use with the folding method. You guys learned the Frankenstein technique in the polygonal forms project, right? And that's where you put one piece together with another one sort of in steps to kind of drive the design the way you want it to go. So that's what we're going to do now is, so there's my first piece. Let me see if see that clearly? Yeah. Yep, okay. So put that right here. And no pins. Grab me a pin off. Oh, there's. Thanks. All right. So here goes. And I need to do this sort of a little bit towards so that I have room around this to work with. Okay. So I'm going to transfer this to here. Okay. So there's my 4 points. I'm going to draw that. Does the camera see this? Here?
Yeah, barely.
All right, let's see if it sees it after this. Okay, so this is the first step. The first step was I took this base part of F here, right, and I've converted it into an elongated form that's tapering. It's got one acute, and two obtuse angles opposite from each other. Okay? It's got, I would say it's got maybe a 2-to-1 proportion. Would you guys agree? All right. So now let's look back at this thing. So we know that the vertical wall, right, it has to have a parallel line to it. All right, and so I'm going to kind of use that. I'm going to use the same distance for it. All right, so that's the next wall. And what I want to do right now is I want to kind of take this thing and I want to figure out how I'm going to cut that next piece. Do you guys understand that this little blob is this one? So I'm going to call this part 1, and this is part 1, right? I've metamorphosed this based on this. So that's a simple step. Step 2 is I'm now trying to make part 2, which is this one. And that's going to be somewhere up in here. I don't know where it's going to be. All right. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the next piece to kind of stagger this way, which means that I'm going to get these walls to lean over in this direction. So let's try that out. Actually, let me show you how you can start to kind of think about that. Over. Okay, So part 2 has 2 parallel folded edges. All right. As this starts to tilt up and that one tilts up, it's going to be put into a relationship against the next level, right? Which will be level for the third part, part 3. So part 3 is out here somewhere. Okay. So here goes.
10 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right. I'll finish cutting this and we'll stop this video. All right. So the only thing that's left, I got to fold this on the back side. And so there is essentially a marriage. There's the beginnings of a marriage of this to that. So the next part that's got to occur is this piece here, right? That's going to come up over it somehow. And then after that, it's going to turn down and go back inside of itself. So that's going to be the next decision. So go ahead and stop the video.